I'm eager to show you something that is quite fascinating today. This is a mini ultrasound scanner, and it's not much bigger than an iPhone, really, but it is a full-scale ultrasound unit that we are starting to use more and more around the world. And it works with this iPad app, and they work together. So whether you're on a mountaintop in Peru, or whether you're in the inner city of Medellin, or whether you're in Vietnam or wherever, this can talk to this, and you can provide ultrasound for women and couples in a pregnancy crisis. Yesterday, I was invited to the Seasons class at Johnson Ferry Baptist Church, where the ladies in the class are organizing a campaign to raise money for an ultrasound unit just like this. So I wanted to show you what I showed to the class yesterday. For example, here's a picture of me in Bogota, Colombia last fall, and I am with Fernando and his wife Esperanza, and they had just opened the first pregnancy help center in Bogota, one of the poorest neighborhoods of Bogota. And we were able to purchase and present one of these handheld ultrasounds to the doctor that's working with them. And as this picture shows, Esperanza is weeping with surprise and joy that they are now going to be able to provide this to their young mothers. In this next slide, you'll actually see a short 10-12 second video in which we are providing that ultrasound to a young mother.
Sí.
And then, of course, the more you provide these ultrasounds for mothers, the more they choose life, and you're able to work with them throughout their whole pregnancy. And then in this next slide, you can see some of the fruit of all that labor. You have all these new moms with their new babies that have been born there. And the Christians are the ones helping bring them along. And we were just there again in April. I'll be back in Colombia, and we expect to see more and more stories flowing out of Bogota and the church's outreach to moms there using all these tools. So it's very exciting. We really began to use this in earnest in Cuba for the first time about 4 years ago. And we are going to bring another one of these to Cuba soon. But in this slide, you'll see Dr. Anya using the unit and the iPad with the young mother laying on her sofa, and her mother is looking over the shoulder of the lady in orange. This is a young woman who is being pressured by her mother into abortion. And we were able to just make a house call. The Dr. Anya went to her house. She's laying on her sofa in her living room with her own mother looking over her shoulder, and there they are looking at their baby. And of course, when women see their babies, they find new reservoirs of courage and strength and faith. And in this particular case, the young mother and her mother joined together to give life to this child. And wherever that's happening, you see more babies are rescued. So here's Dr. Anya with another baby that was rescued out of Cuba. And what I really like about what the church is doing around the world is they are really learning how the gospel of Christ works with the gospel of life, so that as we save lives, you're really helping people to trust in God and in Christ for their daily bread. So that the idea of sharing the gospel and helping people choose life really become fully and naturally integrated into one mission. You're providing life-saving help in a life-changing way. And here are a couple pictures that they sent us from Cuba last year that kind of shows one woman from the beginning of the crisis through the time when she got baptized. So you'll see that in one picture, she's learning about her unborn child through Dr. Anya. Later on, she's attending a baby shower for young moms to receive diapers and clothes and all the kind of practical things that neighbors provide for their neighbors in a situation like this. When the baby was born, you'll see Dr. Anya and one of the pregnancy center workers there with her. And then moving forward, you see her holding her baby and receiving a Bible because she's now part of the local church and she's growing in her new faith. And then she's being baptized in the ocean there. And the last I heard, she's now the young lady on the left there who has joined the women's ministry there and who are now helping mothers have their babies. So all of this begins with the church answering God's call to rescue the innocent and then finding ways to do that are effective and evangelistic. And so in this last slide here, I've got Dr. Anya with her Passion Vita t-shirt on, and she is working through with another doctor a plan to open up pregnancy help ministries across the island of Cuba. And so she can start to multiply herself, and we'd like to be able to see her train 5 or 6, even a dozen doctors over the next couple of years to set up pregnancy centers and work with local churches and help all these moms across Cuba. And a lot of that goes back to being able to provide these little handheld units. This cost about $4,000. First ultrasound that I purchased back in Boston when we opened our first pregnancy center there, I think was somewhere around $32,000. So this is $4,000. So it's a great tool to use. And I just want to tell you that story in case you wanted to jump in at some point and help do in the neatest places in the world what is probably happening in your neighborhood through the pregnancy help centers all across this country. There are about 3,000 of them in the U.S., and we want to see about 3,000 of them started in places like China and Vietnam and Cuba and Colombia and Ethiopia. So if that's something that you're interested in, you can use that QR code and it will take you right to a place that you can join our Sunday school class and make a donation, or you can just go to passionlife.org and make a donation. Either way, ultrasound is indeed proving to be a window to the womb, and technology is becoming, as it improves, it becomes a more useful and practical tool for us to take to the neediest places in the world.